Hi, welcome to Film Fiend. My name is Seb, and today I'm reviewing Passenger. So, Passenger is directed by Andre Øvredal, who directed such classics as The Autopsy of Jane Doe, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I'm kidding, of course, all of those films are known to be not so good. But this film follows a young couple who decide to try out the nomadic traveller lifestyle, only to be hounded by an entity known as the Passenger. So, straight up, this film was a complete letdown. I should have known, to be fair, but I was deceived by the trailer like a lot of other people were, I assume. What starts off fairly promising quickly devolves into something totally generic, lackluster, and mediocre, riddled with tropes and cheap jump scares. It fails to cultivate a consistently scary atmosphere, there's no sustained dread, and it gets exponentially more predictable and formulaic as it goes along. It's just a quiet, bang horror film with one of those totally generic throwaway entities that's just completely run of the mill, and it seems like they made absolutely no attempt to make it memorable or iconic. It leaves nothing in the way of impact or significance, and it doesn't even look that creepy. The design of the titular Passenger is just so unimaginative. It's like they didn't even bother to give it its own unique, scary aesthetic. It looks like a Temu version of The Nun, and they obviously took the first design idea they had and thought, yeah, that'll do. If you've seen the trailer, then you've basically seen the best bits of the film and have had the only worthwhile scares ruined for you already. They're not even edited differently in the trailer in order to not spoil them, and all of the best scares are in the first half of the film. There's a sequence in a parking lot that has some good camera work that serves to build suspense, and there's a couple of tense moments of anticipation on the build up to some jump scares, but that's about it. That's all this film has to offer, cheap jump scares, and most of the moments that are even slightly effective are immediately undercut by something silly and generic. The two protagonists are endearing enough, and the film takes a bit of time for character development, but it's ultimately inconsequential when it has nothing to offer other than generic jump scares and lackluster lore. Also, the peripheral characters are totally incidental, there's some extremely heavy-handed exposition, and the whole mythology of the Passenger is just totally uninspired. Another issue is that the titular Passenger seems to have no rules that it has to abide by. The paranormal elements of this film are totally up in the air, and so the Passenger can kind of just do whatever it wants. So because of that, I found myself asking, so why doesn't it just kill them right now because it has the ability? Or why doesn't it just do this or do that? I found it really frustrating, and the more I think about that aspect of the film, the more I actively dislike it. I hate that specific facet of generic horror films where there's an entity that haunts the characters, but all it ever seems to be able to do is jump out and scare them or cause minor harm, even though they're supposed to be all demonic and evil. But of course it seems to have no problem causing real damage to the peripheral characters. Everything here is just totally unoriginal, and as I said, it completely devolves in the third act. And for everything this film does acceptably well initially, it then completely undermines it all with an eye-rollingly trite and banal finale. So overall, this film is a complete letdown. It's basically terrible, especially as it's been released in the wake of some fantastic original horror films like Obsession or Hokum. Passenger is just totally hackneyed, unexceptional, and forgettable, and it feels to me like the trailer was basically better than the entire film. There's absolutely nothing worthwhile here, so give it a miss or at least wait for it to come to streaming or something. So that was my review of Passenger. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.